Are we recording? Okay. Hi, my name is Dr. Pology, Bennett Pology. I'm making this video. It's my first video. I want to introduce myself because I want to talk, and I'll explain why now I'm making this video as opposed to 10 years ago. I want to talk about the one thing that goes wrong in our lives. It sounds a little grandiose, but bear with me. I've been practicing, 25 years with a license, and before that as under supervision for another 3 years. So I've been doing this a long time. Last count, I've done 30,000 hours, roughly, of psychotherapy. I'm very invested in it. And over the years, I've managed to work with just about every kind of patient there is, in just about every kind of facility there is. I've worked in city hospitals and psychiatric hospitals, schools, nursing homes, community mental health centers, back when they existed. I don't know if they still have them. In the court system, and of course, here in my private practice. And it began to become clear to me rather early on that psychotherapy is a single unified process. There's one thing that happens in good, successful psychotherapy, regardless of what type it is. Now, that may seem a little radical these days when there's talk of dialectical behavior therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, this therapy, that therapy. But if you read them carefully and you look at them carefully, the same thing's happening. But more important, and this is what got me to writing the book I'm going to tell you about, and also making this video and adding this to my website, I'll talk about all this in a minute, is the second realization, and that is that there is this one thing that messes up our lives. And I really mean this. One mistake that underlies so much of what goes wrong, whether you're struggling with anxiety, panic, depression, worry, obsessing, substance abuse, compulsive behaviors, it derails relationships before they start, this one problem, and it messes up relationships all along. It messes up family relationships. Whether you're involved in domestic violence as the victim or as the perpetrator, it's this single mistake. That it's not the only thing that goes on, of course, but it's so central and so common. And it's common in daily life, and it's common in serious emotional and interpersonal problems. So I wrote a book about this when I finally got it down. Now, let me explain something. Anybody will tell you in my field, you don't write a book because you're going to get rich. It won't happen. You write it, at least I did, because in these 30,000 hours of doing psychotherapy, there are moments when you're talking to one person, sometimes two, sometimes a family, and you get it. You put into words this stuff that's so, I see the screen is, if I put my hands up, it defocuses. I apologize, technical glitches. I'll keep my hands down. No, I can't do that. I need my hands. Where was I? I mean this, that this is one thing, excuse me. One thing that goes wrong, that underlies so many of the problems. If you identify it, if you catch it, and I was saying that in therapy, there are moments where I'm talking to a patient and I get it, and I say it, and I can hear, and I can see in the patient's eyes that we have finally hit it. I've put into words this stuff that's so hard to articulate. But only one person heard it, or maybe two. So you run to the computer and you try to write this stuff, and gradually it's developed into this book. And I'm very happy about it. As I reread it in preparation for its print release, it's been released as an ebook just a week ago. As I have to proof it, I find as I'm rereading it, I'm very satisfied. It does capture at least some of what I've always been trying to find the words for. Some of the stuff that is so healing when it's articulated right and at the right time. So, where was I? The book came out about a week ago. It's jumped already to a bestseller status on Amazon, so I'm hoping that means it struck a chord. The price is still $1 or $1.50. It will jump up in the next few days as it, by the way, today is December 18th, 2015. It'll jump up in the next few days as the bestseller status kicks in. And the print version comes out in a week or two, and then, of course, it will be something much more respectable. But for now, you can grab it cheap. And I wanted to share with you who I am. I think I've roughly introduced myself. I practice in New York City. I've been here all my life. And I had mentioned some of my history. I studied at Columbia and Fordham. universities. Introduce myself and introduce this topic. And over the next few weeks, I will be presenting other videos and describing examples from my office, my practice, and examples from daily life of how lying, that's the mistake, I just let the cat out of the bag. This one thing that we do that messes up our lives causes so many of our problems, and how ubiquitous it is, how common it is. There was some research done about 12 years ago at the University of Toronto, I think, somewhere in Canada, that showed that within 3 minutes of any social interaction, people are lying and don't even realize it until they see a video playback of themselves. So as I've now said, it's lying. But I don't mean conscious lies. I'm not talking about kids saying, I ain't scared. Well, that can become unconscious too. But I'm not talking about a kid who says, I didn't eat the cookie, and we can see the crumbs on his face. I'm not talking about what corporations are doing when they send us a letter that says, in order to serve you better, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about unconscious lies, the ones that we're not aware of. That's the real source of so many of our problems. And in this book, I try to describe, and I think successfully describe, examples of how that happens, how to catch it, how it messes up our lives in so many ways, how it derails lives, and how there can be layers of lies upon lies within a single person. Many lies going on between two people talking. It can be a mess, and you may need a guide to help you out of it, but it is not complicated. Lying is simple. It's not the truth. So in future videos, I'll give examples of that. I'm going to be presenting as part of something called the Transformation Summit in mid-January, and that's an international conference online of people like me who are healers of some sort. I'm a clinical psychologist, by the way. And I'll be doing a 2-hour talk there. I'll give a few little examples of things that are in the book and in that talk in future videos here. And once the talk is released, you can all see it there. What else did I want to say? Oh, damn, lost my train of thought. I think that's it. Please take a look at the book. The book is called Stop Lying. There would be a detail to mention. Stop Lying. The subtitle is Getting Unlost and Unstuck in Your Life. You can find it on Amazon. It will be out in print soon. My name, I hope, appears somewhere on your Google or YouTube screen, wherever you're watching this on, and it's Bennett Pologie. And in case it isn't printed somewhere, P like Peter, O-L-O-G-E. My website is aboutpsychotherapy.com. Again, that's www.aboutpsychotherapy.com. That's one word. The website is not advertising. It's information. It's, again, me pouring out this stuff that really is my life passion, and that really, really does work. Now, there's a lot of unsuccessful therapies in the world for many reasons, but psychotherapy does work. So I think that's it for now. I'll be back in future weeks. Please take a look, and thank you.